Hello and welcome. Wow, that's loud. Hello and welcome to this, the first of our Spark AR talks here at F8 2019.
It's really great to see all of you here, so many smiling faces. Thank you all for joining us. And for those who couldn't be here today, thanks for streaming.
Yeah, online.
Absolutely.
It's cool.
It's the only way.
My name is Michael Slater, and I'm a product manager on AR Studio, which we're going to be covering a fair bit today out in London.
And my name is Matt Hansen. I'm a design manager on the Spark AR team out here in sunny California. We've got a ton to get through today, so we've whipped up a really handy agenda slide to give you a really quick overview of everything we'll be covering.
It's excellent.
The best. First, Michael's going to start by talking about augmented reality at Facebook, where we are today, where we've been, and where we're going.
And then we're going to talk to you about Spark AR, our augmented reality platform, give you a quick introduction.
Then he's going to get into what's new in Spark AR Studio. There are loads of new features that we're going to cover today, so don't be fooled by this singular bullet point. There is a ton of information that Michael's going to walk through.
And then we're going to talk about you, what our community is building.
I'm going to get off the stage in a little bit, but when I come back, I'm going to be talking about Spark AR in the future and some really interesting opportunities on the horizon.
And then we're going to wrap it up by telling you about all these other talks that we have here at F8 and all the other places that you can find us at the conference. There's so many talks.
So many. All right. Well, I'll leave you to it. I'll see you guys in a bit. Have fun.
Thanks, Matt.
My pleasure.
You can clap. That's fine. I'll wait. Cool. So as per the agenda slide, we will begin with AR at Facebook. And I'm going to give you a quick history of sort of when we started this and where we are now and where we're going. I also wanted to issue a slight correction, but we'll get to that in a second. So at F8 2017, we first introduced this platform. And Mark talked about this 10-year ambitious vision for Facebook, the company, and how important AR was going to be as one of these core technologies that would take us on this journey. And we launched the AR platform at F8 in 2017 because we wanted to get you along for the ride. Now, actually, last year I presented a slide that looked, actually it's exactly the same as this because I copied and pasted it for this year. I didn't think I even moved the dot, so please don't measure it. But this line is very straight and it sort of looks very simple. And I think that's a little bit misleading. To set this talk up, I wanted to change this line. I think this is probably a little bit of a more accurate representation of the kind of journey we're on. Please ignore the parts of this line where time appears to flow backwards. That's just a trick of AR. But it's really not as simple as that straight line makes it look, right? We kind of know where we want to be in this head-worn, universally available AR future, right? 10 years from now, we're all walking around, and everything is augmented. Our world is this incredible place where we can see anything we want to or not if we don't want to. But how we get there is the tricky part, right? And as we often do at Facebook, we decided that the best way to go about this was to make a platform, to get other people involved in guiding us on this path, in being the innovators, the experimenters, the people who can define what AR is going to look like in the future. And this Spark AR platform is something that's going to exist for years and years to come. So you're getting in on the ground floor starting now, and we're going to guide you on this route, right? And so Spark AR, I'm going to talk with words about what this is and why you should care. But before I do, I wanted to show you this video. You may have seen this video in the keynote, but I'm going to show it to you with music. Yeah, right? So this is a video that shows how far this platform has come. This is a video that shows some of our incredible Instagram creations. People getting access to Instagram has changed the way that people are using this platform. It's become this incredible art form. And I'm going to let the video speak for itself because it's really good. Are you ready? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Here goes. right? How much cooler do we look this year? And that's because of you. If you saw your creation up there in that video, thank you so much for being a part of it. If you didn't, it's just because we couldn't fit them all in. I'm sorry. So Spark AR, this augmented reality platform. First on mobile, and then now on Portal, and obviously taking us into the future on devices of the future. Mark talked about how AR, augmented reality, is this new computing paradigm, this new computing platform, right? The kind of stuff we're creating with AR right now shows us that, in fact, it's even more than that, right? It's a new medium. In much the same way that cinema is a medium, AR is a medium. It could be a creative medium, but it can also be a medium for utility and various other things, right? And when we're building Spark AR, we think about how we're building it in these three pillars the same way you would with a medium. So if I use cinema as an example, you obviously have the movies that people shoot, right, on cameras, the tooling that they use. And then you have the cinema projector, which is in the cinema, and it knows how to play these things back to people. And then you have a distribution platform, which in the cinema analogy is trucks that drive around to cinemas and deliver them, or I suppose the internet nowadays. I don't know how they do that anymore. Anyway, but maybe there's some trucks that drive around. There certainly were. And we think about this in the same way for Spark AR. So we have these AR experiences. These are our movies, right? And you create them using our tooling, Spark AR Studio. And you create all of them using this tool. And then we have our cross-platform engine. This is the kind of brains of the operation that lives in all of our mobile apps. It lives in Portal. It lives in everywhere that supports being able to play these Spark AR experiences back. It has our own 3D rendering engine, which means when we render things, they look the same on every platform. And we have our JavaScript runtime and all of these computer vision algorithms that, again, they're the same wherever you play them back. So you create these things using the same tool. We play them back using the same player. Right? It would be pretty annoying if, in the cinema analogy, some of the projectors just played it upside down or something. That wouldn't be great. And then the final thing, our distribution platform, is where you submit, review, manage, and measure how your experiences and your effects are performing. And this is what we call the Spark AR Hub, and I'll take you over a couple of changes that we've made there and some new features that are coming out very soon. Before I do that, I wanted to take those of you who don't know, through the life cycle of creating one of these effects. So if you've done this before, you'll know this. But the first thing you do is you build it. You go to sparkar.com, you download Spark AR Studio, and you get creative. You build something. And then, before you submit it, you test it using the Spark AR Player, which is a free download from the App Store. Please test them. Test your experiences. It's really easy, and it's really fun. You just plug it into the computer, you hit go, and then you can try it right there. And then you'll know if it's going to work before you submit it. Top tip. Then, when you're done with that, you've tested it, and you've made sure that it works, you publish it to the Spark AR Hub, where we can check that it doesn't violate any of our community guidelines. And then when we've done that, we make it available, and we deploy it to your app of choice. So you can choose where you want this thing to appear, right? And then, when people start to use your experience, we feed these metrics back into the Spark AR Hub, which means you can change how you're building your experiences, you can iterate, you can improve, and you can decide what to do next. So the Spark AR Hub, we've talked about this a lot. It's a web page that you go to where you upload and manage all of your effects. What have we added? So I'm going to show you a slide. I'm going to show you 3 things that we've added in the last year, and then I'm going to talk to you about 3 things that we're adding very soon. So first up, this year we added category tagging. This is really important. Think carefully about your categories. This allows us to better target these experiences to the kinds of people who might like them. So if your experience is about sport, then put sport in the category tag. And then we'll know. We can show it to people who like sports. We've added preview videos. This allows us to create discovery experiences where people can see how your experience should be used, what it looks like when it's really, really great. And now this one might sound boring, but I promise it's not boring. We've added a permissions model. If you're building experiences for other people, if you're working for an agency, or if you're working freelance, then you'll know the pain of having to export one of these things, email it to them, ask them to upload it to the hub, and then explain to them how they've done it wrong, and then go round and round and round in this circle of infinite terribleness before you finally just go to their office or something and do it for them. Or worse, they give you the login to their Facebook account, which we obviously don't want. And so the permissions model allows you to manage the effect parts of their page yourself. So they can give you permission to do what they need to do, what you need to do to make their effects great and understand whether or not you've done the right thing. So you don't have to keep going back and forth. And then 3 things that we're bringing to you very soon. So we show you your total metrics, right? We show you how many captures or shares or whatever that you've had. But we don't show you how many you've had in the last week or the last month. So it's very difficult to understand whether your experience is gaining in popularity or changing who's using it. So we're going to bring you some metrics over time, which will allow you to better understand how your experience is changing its performance. We're going to bring you creator-level metrics. So right now, we tell you how well an effect is doing, right? We tell you how many people have seen it and how many impressions you've had and things. But we don't tell you at the creator level, as a total number of people, how many people have seen these experiences that you're making, right? And I'm going to get to that in a second. And we're aligning how we're giving you metrics on Instagram with how we already do it on Facebook. So on Facebook, we break out captures and shares. On Instagram, we currently don't. We're going to fix that. We're going to make it so that you get the same on both of these platforms. So if you have experiences that you're giving out on Instagram and on Facebook, you'll be able to understand how the performance of those compares. And speaking of metrics, Mark mentioned this in the keynote. I think this is pretty incredible to think about. I'm going to do more dramatic pauses and stuff before I say it. Since F8 last year, 1 billion unique people have used an experience that's powered by Spark AR. This isn't sessions or repeat users. This is 1 billion, more than 1 billion unique people have used these experiences. And every single one of these experiences was made in Spark AR Studio, a tool that you're all learning how to use or already know how to use. And every single one of these is powered by the same cross-platform engine that makes everything look the same across all of these devices. And every single one of these was submitted, reviewed, and managed in the Spark AR Hub. And if you think about that sheer scale of the number of people that you can get access to when you're using this tooling and this platform, it blows my mind. I'm sure it must blow someone's mind. And on top of that, this is not just 1 billion people since last year. Hundreds of millions of people, unique people, are using these experiences every month. So it's not like it just adds up over a year. This is hundreds of millions of people using Spark AR experiences built in the things that you already know how to use, which is pretty cool. And this thing that you already know how to use, or should learn how to use, is AR Studio. Spark AR Studio. This is how we talk about it. Spark AR Studio is a modern compositing and prototyping tool for AR. Now, what do we mean when we say modern? Well, what we mean when we say modern is we mean that it was built for this purpose, right? We started 3 years ago with the intention of building an augmented reality creation tool. And so it's built from the ground up to be really, really good at that. And when we're iterating on it, we're iterating on making an AR creation tool. It's specifically designed for that. We're not bolting it onto something else. When we say compositing, what we mean is that obviously there are plenty of incredible 2D, 3D creation apps out there already. We're not trying to replace those, right? Like there are some really, really good pieces of software that are great for creating things. In fact, there are lots of pre-made things available on the internet already if you want to download models or animations or whatever to use for your thing. You can even do it directly inside AR Studio using what we call the AR library from Sketchfab. And then when we say prototyping, what we mean is we want you to be prototyping your AR experiences in this tool. We don't want you to prototype them somewhere else, and then when you're happy with it, kind of come back to AR Studio and just implement it. We want you to experiment. And we build the tool in this way where we make experimentation easy. And we love the feedback that we get from you that helps us to make that even better. And so this is what we're doing. I got a graph in the presentation. Pretty cool. Developers conference, so hope you enjoy this. Making AR traditionally has been very hard, right? You have to know how to implement computer vision algorithms. You have to know how to write code. You have to do all of these things, right? And if there have been 1 billion unique people since last year who've used this, and if AR is this personal thing where it changes what you look like sometimes, right? Or it puts things in the world around you. If AR is this personal, then, and we have 1 billion people who've used it, we need a huge number of, and a hugely diverse set of creators. And you can't do that if it's really, really hard to make things, right? And so our core tenet of how we're thinking about creating AR Studio is to reduce this complexity and therefore increase the diversity of experience. And we think about the way that we build the tool with this as the foundation. We have this concept of what we call layered complexity, an interface for everyone. So this means that whether or not you're doing something where you just want to drag and drop, or where you're doing something where you've got advanced application logic and you really need to write some code, you can write JavaScript, of course, this interface should work for you. So we have these 3 layers. These are the layers that we think about. Just giving you insight into our designers' minds. So layer 1 is the scene tree and the inspector. This is your drag and drop. You can just go and grab some objects. You can add the face tracker. You can attach some things to it, and you're good to go. If you want to add interactivity to your scene, you can use what we call the patch editor. This is a node-based graph system. So you can do things like drag a block in that says if the mouth is open, and attach it to one that says play this animation. And it's really simple. And anything that you've created in the scene tree and inspector, you can still use when you get to the patch editor. You don't have to start again, right? And then if you decide you want to add some advanced logic, some application logic, whatever it might be, you can use scripting. So if you're creating a complex game or something like that, you can write it in JavaScript. And again, you don't need to get rid of anything that you built in the patch editor. You can just elevate to the next level. Or I suppose this is unelevate. What's the opposite of elevate? Anyway, down to the next level. And of course, it's not really an interface for everyone if it's not available everywhere. And we hear you. If you go to the creators group, it looks like this is one of you. This is a creator. You see that? Looks like you. And then you type Windows support or whatever, and then I see it, and I'm like, ah. And then like 5 million other creators do exactly the same thing. And then we're like, oh, I see. We should make a Windows version. So we did. Oh yeah, it doesn't tell me the time. And so we created this Windows version. But we didn't just create a Windows version. We took this opportunity to rebuild AR Studio from the ground up. We've literally rewritten every single line of code. And we've rewritten it based on the things that we learned from writing the original Mac-only version. And we've rewritten it based on feedback that we've got from you. And so this is our new core. This is going to be this one single app that runs on both Mac OS and on Windows. And it's going to get the same features at the same time because it's the same thing. And we've made some nice tweaks to it based on feedback as well, and based on some things that we really wish we'd changed in the first one but never got around to. So first, a shiny new user interface. I'll show it to you in a second. We've cleaned some things up. We've moved some things to the side. We've made some things resizable. We made it darker. All standard UI stuff. But we've made it better based on the feedback that we've got from you, how you use it. We've written a brand new patch editor. I talked about the patch editor a second ago as being this method of adding interactivity. Well, we've rewritten it from the ground up. We've got a new user interface for it with a bunch of new features. And we're going to make sure that this foundation can take us forward. We have so many plans for the patch editor to make it more visual, to make it more interactive. And now we have a foundation on which we can build those. And this is what it looks like. That's a robot dancing. You can see here a start menu as evidence that it's running on Windows. If you don't know what that is, that's a start menu at the bottom there. That means it's a Windows computer. You can see our brand new patch editor here. We've got some new colors, and we've made the ports clearer. There's loads of new little nice UI tweaks as well that we've put in there, so you should really give it a try. You can see we've moved the toolbar to the left-hand side, got it out the way. It works better on widescreen monitors. And this is exactly the same as our new beta on Mac OS as well. We've added something else that you've been asking for. We're calling it in-app preview. Obviously, I mentioned earlier, the Spark AR Player is really good for iterating on your experiences, right? It's really good when you want to know how performance works. It's really good when you want to just see something on mobile over and over and over again and keep trying it. But then we've also heard this feedback that you want to be able to see what it looks like in the target app before you actually submit it. So if you want to, when you're done and you're happy with it, you just want to check that it works great in Facebook or that it works great in Instagram. You can now do that with one click from the AR Studio Beta, which is pretty cool. And finally, blocks. I'm going to show you a video in a second to sort of better explain this. Blocks is an entirely new concept that we're introducing. Blocks is this amazing system for both organizing, but then reusing and also sharing parts of your projects. It allows you to dramatically simplify what your scene graph looks like, what your patch graph looks like, and what your assets panel looks like by allowing you to join these things together into reusable blocks. No longer can you just have patch groups that you can share and export and reuse. You can actually export entire scene graphs with the patch editor and various things, and you can share them with other people. And so it gives you this ability to break a project into these small reusable parts and not have to rebuild something every time. And if you want to change something in a part of many projects that's built on the same block, you only have to change the block. You don't have to go and change everything else. So I'm going to show you this video, which this is a very short video, and there's loads more to talk about on this. We just don't have time today. I'm going to show you this video. So you can see here, this is a dock on the bottom here. You can see this. That means it's running on Mac OS. You can see that it's the same application. Pretty cool. And up here on the left-hand side in my scene tree, you can see I have an object called game. Now, this is an entire game that this is a block that we've created called game, and it encapsulates an entire endless runner. Right? And in the bottom left-hand side, you can see the thing that's called game.block. It lives in my assets panel. I can reuse that in as many projects as I want. And then over on the right-hand side, you can see the properties of game.block. And you can see that I've exposed a couple of things here. So the inputs that I've exposed that I want people to be able to touch are the character sprite. What do I want this endless runner character to look like? And the building sprite. What do I want them to be running on? Okay? So I'm just going to play this video very quickly. So you can see that I can go over here and I can select a new building sprite, character sprite, and this cute little cat that runs. Pretty cool. And this experience is obviously already running. I can go and add a building sprite, and these are my inputs to this block. And so now the block knows what it should populate things with. Actually, I'm going to change that building to be a darker one because I think it looks a little bit nicer. But obviously, a game needs a scoreboard. Fortunately, I've built a scoreboard that I used for many games. And I'm just going to drag the scoreboard block in, and you can see that it has these scene elements in it already. It exposes a color for changing the score here. I'm going to select yellow. Fantastic. But I need the score to line up with the game. And so if I click this here, I can get a patch, a score patch, which has an input. And I can drag my game block right in there, which outputs a score, because I've decided that I want to do that. Connect the two together, and that's it. Suddenly, I have a game with the scoreboard connected. And you can see how simple this is. If I double-click into these blocks, I essentially get a whole new project which contains my game. That's my AR Studio game. Pretty cool. And we're going to be releasing this in very soon in one of our betas. It's actually not in the first beta, but it'll be just tidying up some loose ends. And there's loads more things. Loads more things. We have now in the beta coming out full render pipeline configuration. So if you're one of these people who loves writing shaders, but you can't do multipass things that you'd like to be able to do, well, now you can. You can set up your off-screen buffers in the patch editor in a graph. It's like a compositing graph. If you've used any other compositing software, you'll know what it's like. But you can set up these complex graphic effects right from the patch editor, which is pretty cool. Something else that you've asked for, well, you haven't asked for it specifically like this, but this is how you're getting it. Command line interface. So there are lots of things that you have to do over and over again when you're creating things, right? And maybe you have 100 projects that all need the same change making or all need re-exporting. We're giving you the ability in the AR Studio Beta, starting with file export, to script AR Studio. So without having to open the GUI for it, you can write a script that will go through, grab all of these projects, perform the same tasks on them, and give you the output. It works on both macOS and on Windows. We have new audio format support. So previously, we made you encode the audio correctly, and that was just annoying. We're making it so you can import any audio you like, and we'll do all the things we need to do to it for you. And the last one I wanted to call out is one that we actually released a couple of months ago, image-based lighting. But along with physically based rendering, that makes materials look more realistic, that we released a little while ago, it's completely changed how creators are thinking about the platform. And it's given some of our creators this ability to create things that we had never seen before and we had never thought about before. And this little segue into the creator community. These presentations are timed. You don't have that long to do them, so we couldn't put any more videos in. But I've put in as many videos as I can. There's two. Usually 2 videos from our creator community. Our creator community is everything to us, right? We can't make all of these diverse experiences that feel great for everyone in the world on our own. We simply can't do it. It's just not possible, and so we need you. But we're not just getting experiences from you. We're getting new ideas. It's absolutely incredible what we're seeing. Whole new classes of experience that we've never seen before anywhere, not on Spark AR, but anywhere. And so the first creator, you may have seen a short version of Joanna's video in the keynote. If you haven't, don't worry, because I'm going to show you this one with sound, right? This is just the keynote, but with sound. Joanna is an incredible creator. Joanna has shown us that you can play with light in really simple ways that people hadn't really thought of before and make some incredible experiences. I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to let this video speak for itself.
You see something and you're confused. You're not sure. This moment where they're confused, I think it's a really interesting moment. I love to play with light and shadow on the virtual space. I'm not a developer, but I'm really interested with this. I'm using Spark AR because it's kind of like easy. In 2 clicks, you can change the position of the light, you can make it blink, you can make it rotate. You can play with light like it's not possible in reality and be a bit more experimental. Beauty 3000 triggered something really strong. To be able to cast lights on the face, I had to play around with this kind of like plastic texture on the face mesh. And the more I exaggerated this plastic kind of look, the more I'm satisfied. And then I published it, I was so excited, it just spread everywhere. People recognize me in the street like, oh, you the face filter girl. So it's a bit strange. I don't know, my life changed.
I'd clap that. It's pretty incredible. That quote, you can play with light like it's not possible in reality, that's the point, right? But it takes special minds to come up with these simple ways of doing just that, and making people, see new things. It's really, really cool. Next up, and the final video before I hand over to Matt to talk to you about the future, is from Felipe. And again, I'm just going to let this video speak for itself and let him speak for himself.
People say that my work looks very futuristic, and I don't agree. I think it's very present. When I first tried Spark AR, I couldn't sleep at night. And it's a way for me to apply these ideas onto people's faces. That one night, I made my first filter. It was so quick. It's really easy to figure things out. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I'm a very analog and digital person. I'm putting work out to the world from this little town in Spain. My work is shaped by my graffiti, so I can totally apply my work onto the filters. I can make my work way more precise, and I can produce more, I can explore more things. I think Spark AR and graffiti fits perfectly. With Spark AR, you can express whatever you're working on this one tool. It responds in a very immediate, disposable way, and I think show people around the world, it's a new canvas to keep making art.
And with that, I'm going to hand you over to Matt. Hi, welcome back to the stage, Matt.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
See you in a little bit.
Okay, bye. Have a great time.
I will. All right. So that was fantastic. Michael really walked us through everything that's possible with AR Studio today. but I'm here to talk a little bit about the future and some really interesting opportunities on the horizon. Now, Spark AR Studio gives you a single point of creation that reaches millions of people. And you've seen how we're improving our platform to make it even easier to create and distribute AR content to a massive global audience. We see how naturally people share on our Facebook family of apps and how creators all around the world are using Spark to connect and support one another. It's really a lot of fun. But working with the new medium is difficult. And although the tech has been in development for years and years and years, it's still brand new to most of us. New concepts, new techniques, new tools, and new technologies. And all this newness can be quite overwhelming. And it brings about a lot of challenges. Challenges that can be overcome if we connect the pockets of information and knowledge within the community more effectively. Now, maybe you're a software engineer or an animator, a creative technologist, or a print designer looking for something new. As each of these disciplines learn how to adapt their strengths to this new medium, we're realizing that the knowledge isn't being shared in a way that can help us learn from one another. As a platform, we can do more to collate this information so we can overcome these challenges together as a community. Because to build the augmented world of the future, we need to do it together. So today, we're happy to announce that we're going to be publishing Spark AR Guidelines, a set of research-backed insights aimed to help you get from idea to execution even quicker. We've collected everything that we've learned about designing AR experiences and packed them into these guidelines. And we're excited to build with you, the Spark AR creator community. And we believe these guidelines provide a clear path to understanding where and how to start. Now, these guidelines are a great way to build some design muscle, but this isn't just about camera effects. You saw Michael talk about how AR is permeating different parts of our product line. But let's talk about a way to provide some new opportunities for you in the very near future, starting with AR shopping. AR shopping represents a great opportunity for creators, brands, and businesses all to come together and change how the world shops. Now, I shop online quite a bit. I just love the convenience. But I got some problems with online shopping too. Sometimes I don't know if a pair of sunglasses are going to look good on my face, or how a piece of furniture is going to fit in my house. I might even consider driving an hour to the store instead of buying something online only to return it when it doesn't fit. And that's if I have time to drive back to the store to return it. I still have an assortment of packages sitting in purgatory by my front door waiting to be returned. And here's where augmented reality can really help. AR can help make your decisions way more resilient and way more convenient. And that means, that means we can save you the trip to the store so you can spend your time on more valuable things, like spending time with your friends and family, or reading a book, or climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. Spark is going to make it super simple to build AR for shopping. And we believe that engaging with realistic virtual products will lead to way more durable purchases. And that taking shopping from a flat world of 2D imagery to a more tangible, meaningful place is going to unlock a tremendous amount of value for both consumers and for businesses. There's value in finding the perfect fit, in trying on the right shade of lipstick, or understanding just how big that chair really is before buying it. And that's great for businesses too, who can drive an increase in sales, reduce return rates, or build valuable trust in their brand. And each business will find value by applying our technology in new and different ways. For some, they want to drive awareness by getting consumers to deeply interact with a fun AR effect, like placing a dinosaur in your living room. Other businesses care about generating sales by providing a more realistic product experience, as we see here with some examples from Ray-Ban, NYX, and Pottery Barn. These experiences were all part of a small AR ads alpha, which saw some really positive results. We've recently expanded into a larger beta and hope to expand it more broadly in the coming months, which translates to even more opportunities for you, the creator community, to build AR experiences with and for your favorite brands. And we're going to make it dead simple for you to build these high-fidelity shopping experiences and put them in the hands of hundreds of millions of people. Let's talk a little bit about how. First up, blocks. We mentioned earlier how blocks improve our day-to-day workflows. Now, imagine for a second you landed a new client. And that client wants you to build 100 AR effects, one for every item in their product line. Now imagine there's a slight revision. That is 100 changes that you have to make. And then there's a new logo, 100 more changes. Now you know you're going to have to make that logo bigger. That's 100 more changes. It's pretty difficult. You get the point. It's pretty painful. But with blocks, you don't have to resort to manual scene assembly or develop your own new interaction paradigms or build effect after effect after effect whenever you need to make a change. Soon, you'll be able to simply drop a model into a shopping block and have it automatically inherit the most effective interaction models and system UI. You could even use the command line interface to batch the entire process. It's a super easy way to build shopping experiences. But there are more opportunities we can unlock here, specifically in the beauty industry. And as we looked into the challenges creators face there, we noticed that building realistic makeup effects is no easy task. Creating makeup looks that adapted to light and shadow properly and looked good on all skin tones was challenging at best. Wouldn't it be great if you could create photorealistic makeup as easily as you applied a simple shader? Well, now you can. Our new, easy-to-use makeup shaders have built-in light estimation, so you can try on lipstick and a variety of other products to see how it looks and reacts in different lighting conditions, and even simulate different environments like studio lighting on a variety of complexions. And the best part is, you don't have to be a graphics programmer to understand how to use it. These shaders will be powerful, flexible, and most importantly, easy to use. It's going to be great when people can check out that nighttime look, take a photo, and share it with their friends to show off, or make sure that they're making a resilient purchase. But we also want to make shopping experiences more consistent and easy to manage. So we're rolling out something called the native picker. When using this feature, your effects will inherit the picker UI for whatever product your effects are being deployed in. Now, let's say you're a creator who's making an effect for Instagram, and you have some options you want people to scroll through. This means you won't have to build your project file to mimic their great UI anymore. The native picker will automatically render it for you. This also means that if and when Instagram makes a tweak to their great UI to make it even better, you won't have to change a thing, because the UI will be rendered in the client instead of the effect, which means the changes are automatic. It's a really great way for us to help you make your projects more resilient and our offerings more consistent. And if we don't have consistency across our experiences, people are going to have a difficult time understanding how to be successful. Our job here at Spark AR is to help make your experiences more intuitive. And for new behaviors to become intuitive, it takes time and repetition. Because Spark drives all of the AR experiences across the Facebook family of apps, the experiences you deploy in one brand will behave just like the experiences you deploy in another. Now, there will always be room for experimentation, but by giving you the ability to build experiences consistently with a few simple clicks, we can reinforce successful behaviors together and translate them into instinct. Now, shopping with AR could bring a university of possibilities into your home and your world. But how can we apply these possibilities to the world around us? How can we unlock location-based experiences for everyone? Compelling, relevant, and shareable experiences that just work. How can we provide more ways for you to create unique and inspiring content that connects our audiences to the spaces and places that they love? Layers of rich texture and depth that deliver information, entertainment, and utility in unprecedented ways. Contextual experiences that are delivered to the right audience in the right place at the right time. We believe that location-based experiences can help people learn more effectively, shop more confidently, and in general, just have more fun. Now, it's a big world out there, but by making the tech accessible to all of you to experiment and develop with, we can deliver on this promise of contextual value together and make the whole world a lot smaller. Now let's talk about how. We'll be partnering with Instagram this year to launch a series of location-based effects, starting today with the F8 Scavenger Hunt. Let's talk about some of the pieces that come together to power this experience. First, we need an entry point. So we've connected AR with Instagram name tags. Once you scan the name tag, the effect gets added to your tray, real quick and real easy. This means that rather than having to scroll through your tray and find an effect manually, you have a direct, easy to understand way in. People get scannable codes, and Instagram name tags are great for this. Now, the effect that gets added to your tray isn't just any effect. It contains a multi-effect launcher. This launcher can identify and activate multiple targets, and each target can link to its own individual effect, which opens up tons of opportunities and makes these experiences much easier to use for our community. You won't have to scan multiple codes or add multiple effects to your tray, just one. And once you activate those targets, our tracking tech will allow you to merge your AR content with the real world seamlessly. You could stick objects to your targets, create portals into a new universe, or even make 2D images come to life. But we still need to provide a way to help people understand what to do, which targets can be activated, where they're located, how many you've tried, and how many are left. So we've built a guide. It's an easy way to help people through their journey and even provide a way to reward them at the end for completing it. Please try it here at F8 over the next couple of days, and we'll have a gift waiting for you at the registration counter when you've finished. We're going to empower you to feed this tech with all of your great ideas very soon, and we can't wait to see how you unleash your creativity on the world around us. So, to recap, we've talked about how we're going to help everybody learn the basics with Spark AR guidelines and the awesome opportunity that AR shopping and location-based experiences bring. Now, before I bring Michael up on stage to help close this out, I wanted to play a quick video, also from the keynote, to help show how everything gets tied all together. Yeah, that was fun, right? Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
There you go. He's
So we are at the end of the talk. And if you're thinking, wow, that was a lot of content, I wish there was somebody who would wrap it up into 4 easy-to-remember bullet points so that I could take it away, then you are in luck.
Yeah.
Because we did it for you.
You're welcome. First off, our community is everything. You guys really inspire us with your creativity, excitement, and passion. You guys are really the multiplier for everything that we do. All the intellect and insight that we put into this platform is nothing without you guys to amplify exactly what we want to get across.
Yeah, thank you. And this audience that you're reaching by using Spark AR is huge. We talked about 1 billion unique people using it since last F8. We've talked about hundreds of millions of people using these things every month. When you use Spark AR, you get access to all of this.
And new experiences are coming. I just rambled on for about 15 minutes about it. But the great news is that you guys will have way more new outlets to funnel your creativity into, to really provide new ways to provide new experiences to a global audience.
And the key here is that you only need to learn once, right? When you know how to use Spark AR Studio, you can make shopping experiences, or you can make location-based experiences, or you can make Instagram filters, right? You can do all of this stuff from the same tooling. So this is not the end of Spark AR at F8.
Not even a little bit.
2019.
There's so much more for you guys to explore just beyond those doors, and even beyond the conference once you leave on Wednesday.
Come and find us online at our community group or at sparkar.com. Come and download the new beta of the next generation of AR Studio. All these features that we talked about today are either available there or will be in the next month. So please come and get started with that.
What's a beta?
Beta.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
New York.
And join us offline at the Spark AR booths. There's networking events, and there's tons more to explore here. Check out your F8 app to explore it all.
And come and see the other talks. This is one of 9 talks and classroom sessions on Spark AR. If you're interested about knowing more, please come. We are not going to take questions here, obviously, but we will be around to answer questions if you want to come and chat to us. We'll be outside because we need to get out of this room so that we can let the rest of the conference happen. But we'll wait outside that door. Please come and talk to us if you have some questions.
Thank you all so much for attending. We'll see you on the floor. Thank you.